In 2357, humans hold dominion as the sole species with the ability to converse with animals, granting them unmatched authority and marking them as prime targets. Former soldier Rick Reyes and his wolf companion Fang land their craft on planet Novaria, greeted by the acrid scent of smoke and blood. A nearby human settlement lies in ruins, its structures demolished and lifeless forms strewn about, casualties of the formidable bear-like Krillin. Rick's unique gift of animal communication becomes paramount as he races against time to decipher the motivations behind the Krillin's rampage. The delicate balance between humans and aliens teeters on the brink of collapse, and Rick stands as humanity's last line of defense against an imminent interspecies conflict threatening to engulf the galaxy in chaos and devastation. As our ship descended onto Novaria's surface, Fang emitted a low growl, detecting the ominous scent even within the confines of our vessel. I offered him a reassuring scratch behind the ears, attempting to pacify his agitation. "Easy, boy. We'll uncover the truth," I murmured as we stepped onto the desolate terrain, Fang trailing faithfully behind. The pungent odor assaulted my senses, a nauseating blend of slaughterhouse and inferno. With scanner in hand, I surveyed the desolation, registering no signs of life in the immediate vicinity. We proceeded toward the decimated human settlement, its remnants reduced to rubble and corpses strewn indiscriminately. Men, women, and children lay motionless, victims of the Krillin onslaught. Fang approached one of the fallen, emitting a mournful howl that resonated with grief. Kneeling beside a lifeless form, I examined the wounds, unmistakably inflicted by Krillin weaponry. Yet, a nagging inconsistency gnawed at me. How could such a supposedly primitive species unleash such devastation? As we ventured deeper into the ruins, an unsettling realization dawned upon me. The absence of Krillin corpses. It was as if they had appeared, wrought havoc, and vanished without a trace. Fang's sudden alertness drew my attention, prompting a swift pursuit as he bounded toward the settlement's perimeter. Emerging at the forest's edge, we were confronted by a sight that defied expectation. A sprawling metropolis concealed beneath the canopy, boasting technology rivaling the Galactic Alliance's advancements. This was no primitive enclave. It was a civilization of staggering sophistication. Fang's bark broke the silence, signaling the approach of Krillin, accompanied by their formidable animal companions. Towering over us, these colossal beings exuded an aura of strength and resilience. Utilizing my gift, I endeavored to establish communication, met initially with skepticism before Fang's intervention bridged the divide. In the ensuing hours, I labored to unravel their language and customs, aided by my rapport with their animal allies. Through this connection, I unearthed a history of coexistence marred by recent conflict. The Alliance's clandestine mining operations had desecrated Krillin territory, driving them to desperate measures. Fueled by a potent mix of indignation and betrayal, I resolved to broker peace, recognizing that salvation lay not in violence, but in understanding and empathy. The Galactic Alliance had deceived us all, painting the Krillin as primitive savages when, in reality, they constituted a highly advanced civilization with a rich cultural heritage. Now, due to the Alliance's insatiable greed, innocent lives had been lost on both sides. I knew I had to halt the bloodshed before it escalated into full-scale war, but first, I needed more information. Addressing the Krillin leader, I urged, "Take me to your sacred lands. I need to witness the devastation firsthand." Fang, bristling with tension, stood by my side as we ventured into the heart of the conflict. The fate of the galaxy rested squarely on my shoulders. Returning to the ship, a sense of unease gnawed at my gut. The Galactic Alliance had much to answer for, and I was determined to uncover the truth. Activating the communication system, I requested a direct line to Ambassador Dominic Drake, the human representative to the Galactic Alliance. "Zach Reyes." Drake's image appeared on the screen, his tone tinged with suspicion. "What's the reason for this direct contact?" Taking a deep breath, I launched into my report, divulging every detail of the Krillin situation and the Alliance's covert mining operations. Fang, ever vigilant, sat beside me, his gaze fixed on the screen, mirroring the gravity of the situation. Drake's demeanor shifted from curiosity to hostility as I concluded my report. "Morris," he sneered, "this is nothing but a wild conspiracy. The Alliance has no interest in your delusions." Frustration bubbled within me. "This isn't a conspiracy. The Alliance is destroying the Krillin's sacred lands, driving their animal companions to extinction. We must stop it." Drake chuckled dismissively. "You've lost sight of reality, Reyes. The Krillin are merely primitive savages, and their lands are ripe for exploitation by the Alliance. Realization struck like a lightning bolt. You're involved in this, aren't you? I accused, my voice laced with danger. You're collaborating with the mining corporations to exploit Novaria's resources. Drake's expression hardened. Watch your words, Reyes. You're treading on thin ice. Return to Earth immediately. If you persist in obstructing Alliance operations, you'll face charges of treason. Do I make myself clear? Beside me, Fang tensed, poised to spring into action at a moment's notice. But I knew engaging Drake head-on would be futile. I needed to outsmart him. Crystal, I said, my tone dripping with sarcasm. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Ambassador. With a swift gesture, I severed the communication link before Drake could retort, my mind ablaze with schemes. I couldn't confront the Alliance alone, yet abandoning the Krillin was out of the question. They needed my support, and I was determined to provide it. Turning to Fang, I met his inquisitive gaze. We're not heading back to Earth, boy, I declared. We're seeking out Thok and Scar. It's time to escalate this fight. Fang barked in agreement, his tail wagging with anticipation. Together, we charted a course for the heart of Krillin territory, prepared to forge an alliance that would rattle the foundations of the Galactic Alliance. As we soared deeper into Novaria's dense forests, I marveled at the hidden cities of the Krillin, their towering skyscrapers a testament to their ingenuity and resilience. Touching down on the outskirts of the largest city, we were met by Thok and Scar, formidable figures radiating strength and determination. Bowing respectfully, I addressed them, utilizing my connection with their animal companions to convey my message. The Galactic Alliance has betrayed us all, I proclaimed. Together, we must stop them. Thok growled in agreement, his eyes ablaze with righteous fury. We will not rest until they pay for their crimes, he declared. With a surge of resolve coursing through me, I outlined my plan to expose the Alliance's misdeeds and protect Novaria's ecosystem. Scar barked his approval, while Thok, after a moment of contemplation, clasped my forearm in a warrior's handshake. We will fight by your side, Rick Reyes, Thok pledged, his voice resonating with quiet strength. For the sake of our animal companions and the future of Novaria, united in our cause, a sense of hope and purpose flooded my being. Though the road ahead would be arduous, with Fang, Thok, and Scar at my side, I knew we could overcome any obstacle. Together, we would unveil the truth and bring justice to the Krillin and their animal allies. The Galactic Alliance was utterly unprepared for what awaited them. Under the cover of night, Rick and Thok led their strike force towards the heavily guarded mining facilities. Human and Krillin warriors moved with seamless coordination, their animal companions silent sentinels at their side. Fang's fur bristled with anticipation as they approached the compounds. With a signal from Rick, the team split up, each unit tasked with a specific objective. Fang and I took the lead, relying on our unique bond to infiltrate the main facility and gather crucial intelligence on the Alliance's mining operations. Morrow and Carl led the rest of the strike force in a diversionary attack, drawing the guards' attention and creating an opening for Rick and Fang to slip inside unnoticed. With a final nod of understanding, the two groups parted ways. Rick and Fang moved with stealth through the shadows, their steps silent and fluid. Approaching the perimeter fence, Fang's low growl signaled a scent he had detected. Rick focused his mind, communicating with his loyal companion. What is it, boy? What do you smell? Fang's thoughts flooded Rick's mind, conveying a sense of unfamiliarity tinged with danger. A scent of death and decay mingled with acrid chemicals. Rick's heart quickened as he realized the gravity of the situation. The mining facility wasn't merely extracting resources from Novaria's sacred lands. It harbored something far more sinister. With renewed urgency, Rick and Fang slipped through a gap in the fence and made their way toward the main building. Their progress was interrupted by the sound of gunfire erupting in the distance, indicating Morrow and Carl's attack. Guards rushed to respond, allowing Rick and Fang to capitalize on the chaos. Navigating through twisting corridors, they encountered a group of guards, enhanced soldiers, bulging with unnatural muscle and fueled by feral rage. Recognizing the threat, Rick and Fang sprang into action. Fang's snarl filled the air as he leapt forward, while Rick discharged his blaster, struggling to fend off the onslaught. Despite Fang's ferocity, the genetically enhanced soldiers proved formidable adversaries. Amidst the fray, a deafening roar shattered the room as Morrow and Carl burst in, towering over the enhanced guards. Together, The four warriors waged a fierce battle, their determination unwavering. As the last guard fell, Rick and his allies stood victorious. Yet there was no time for celebration. They needed to locate the biological weapon and thwart Ambassador Drake's sinister plans. Rick hacked into a nearby terminal, uncovering chilling information. The weapon was a virus targeting the genetic makeup of the Krillin and their animal companions. Its deployment would spell doom for Novaria's inhabitants. With grim resolve, Rick turned to Morrow and Carl. "We have to stop him," he declared. "We can't let him unleash this weapon on your people." Morrow's eyes blazed with agreement, ready to confront the impending threat head-on. "We will fight to the last breath," Morrow growled, his words echoed by Scar's rumbling bark. Together, the four warriors raced through the facility, their animal companions leading the charge. Bursting into the main laboratory, they confronted Ambassador Drake just as he prepared to activate the virus. "You're too late, Reyes," Drake spat, his hand poised over the activation button. "The Krillin will be a memory, and Novaria will be ours." Rick raised his blaster, his voice low and dangerous. "I won't let you do this, Drake. Stand down or I'll put you down." But Drake just laughed mockingly, taunting Rick's resolve. Before Rick could react, Drake slammed the activation button, initiating the virus's release. Fang, filled with rage, lunged forward, sinking his teeth into Drake's arm. As chaos erupted, Rick raced to the control panel, attempting to abort the virus's deployment. But his efforts were thwarted by the system's security protocols. In a desperate moment, Morrow stepped forward, his touch unlocking the system with surprising ease. "The Krillin built this technology," Morrow rumbled with pride, "and we will be the ones to destroy it." With Morrow's intervention, the threat was neutralized, and Drake's plans were thwarted. Though Drake screamed in frustration, he had been defeated, and the truth about the mining corporation's illegal activities would soon be exposed. Amidst the aftermath, Rick looked to his allies with gratitude and respect. Fang, Morrow, and Carl had fought bravely, risking everything to protect their world. Together, they had struck a blow against corruption and exploitation. But Rick knew the fight was far from over. The Galactic Alliance would retaliate, and more battles would ensue. Yet, for now, he allowed himself a moment of triumph, scratching Fang behind the ears in gratitude. "We saved Novaria," Rick murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "Together, we prevailed." With their bond unbreakable, the four warriors stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For on Novaria, the strength of their alliance would never be defeated. Their bodies moved in perfect sync as they dodged and weaved around their attackers. Fang's teeth sank into the bear's flank, tearing through metal and flesh alike. The bear roared in pain and rage, its massive paw swiping at the wolf with crushing force. Fang yelped as he was flung across the room, his body slamming into the wall with a sickening thud. Rick's heart raced with fear and anger as he saw his loyal companion fall. He turned to face the soldier, his blaster firing in rapid succession. But the soldier's armor was too strong, deflecting the bolts like raindrops. The soldier closed in, its metal fists pummeling Rick's body relentlessly. Rick felt his ribs crack, his breath coming in ragged gasps as he struggled to stay conscious. But he refused to give up, refused to let Drake win. With a burst of desperate strength, Rick reached out with his mind, brushing against the mutated bear's consciousness. He felt the creature's pain and confusion, the neural link that bound it to the soldier's will. And he knew what he had to do, pouring all of his energy into the mental connection. Rick's thoughts beat against the neural link like waves against a dam. The bear roared in agony, its body convulsing as it fought against the soldier's control. "No!" Drake screamed, his face twisted with rage and fear. "You can't do this. You can't take my bear away from me." But it was too late. With a final wrenching effort, Rick shattered the neural link, and the bear's mind was free. The creature turned on the soldier, its claws tearing through metal and circuitry with savage fury. As the soldier fell, Drake tried to run, but Rick was faster. He tackled the corrupt ambassador to the ground, his fists pummeling the man's face until he lay still and unconscious. Fang limped over to Rick's side, his fur matted with blood but his eyes shining with pride and affection. "We did it, boy," Rick whispered, hugging the wolf close. "We won." In the days that followed, the truth about the Galactic Alliance's actions on Novaria was brought to light. The mining corporations were held accountable for their crimes, and the Krillin were granted full control over their sacred lands. A new treaty was forged between humans and Krillin, based on mutual respect and understanding. Rick and Fang were hailed as heroes, their unique bond celebrated as a shining example of what could be achieved when different species worked together. As Rick stood before the cheering crowds, he felt a sense of pride and purpose that he had never known before. With his animal companions by his side, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For with their bond unbreakable, there was nothing they could not achieve.